Okay, so this is the third time that I'm recording this. So in this video, I want to try and compare the Canon EOSM with Magic Lantern, without Magic Lantern, to just using your iPhone. I have an iPhone 13, and I've tried recording this video several times. This is the third time now that I'm recording it. I want to talk about this from a person who's new to camera perspective. I don't know much about cameras, as I've learned in my process of doing this, to see what's worth it for you to make this kind of vlogging, talking head content for YouTube and things like that. Whether it's worth it to go shell out money for a camera, or if it's worth just using your phone to record videos and things like that. I'm using the Canon EOSM with the Canon EFM 22mm f2 STM lens. That's a lot of letters. It's a 22mm pancake lens. I got it because I wanted the camera to be a little bit more low profile in case I ever take it outside. It's a little easier to carry around. I just want it to be an easy point and shoot type of deal. First, I want to talk about Magic Lantern. Magic Lantern is a third-party firmware that you can load onto your Canon EOSM, and it's the combination of, from what I've seen of the EOSM and Magic Lantern, is that you get really nice cinematic looking footage out of a very budget camera, which from what I've seen people able to do, it seems very true. You can get that cinematic footage out of this camera if you are good enough with cameras to do so. Installing the right version of Magic Lantern is a little bit of a pain. When you first get onto the Magic Lantern website and you go to builds and you go to the EOSM build, it is a build from 2018 that hasn't really been updated recently, but is the most stable version of the Magic Lantern build. But a build that a lot of people are using is Crop Mood. Crop Mood is, I think it got crowdfunded or something to get built. I think it had an update like last week or 2 weeks ago as of recording this video. But it seems a lot of people are really unlocking the full potential of this camera with Crop Mood. So I had to dig a bit to find Crop Mood, and it's in a forum post on the Magic Lantern website, and then from that forum post you get linked to like a GitHub like website to download it, load it up onto your SD card. A little side note for if you want to use Magic Lantern across multiple SD cards. You need to have the Magic Lantern files on all your SD cards if you want to use it on all those cards. Your camera will have Magic Lantern like loaded up, but it will need the Magic Lantern files on the SD card. You'll need to access those files on the SD card in order for it to work. We got Magic Lantern installed. Now it's the settings. What I should have done when I first got this camera was I should have just followed someone else's settings and copied that, and that was it. I didn't do that. And when I didn't do that, I bricked the camera twice. 2 times I bricked it. But you can fix it pretty easily by removing the battery, removing the SD card, putting them both back in, reformatting the card, and then you're good to go. You'll have to like go in and take off the Magic Lantern files and put them back on, and then re-update the firmware if you really want to use Magic Lantern still. But then from then you're good to go, and then just try to remember whatever you did to brick it, and then don't do it again. Like me, I bricked it twice. It wasn't great. It was very panicky. This person's video, copy their settings, just copy what they do, copy their setup, just do that. Don't really, if you don't know what you're doing, just don't, it's not really great to just fiddle around with the settings, because you can do what I did and brick your camera twice. One of the things that I ran into when I was trying to mess around with the settings myself was I was trying to record something in RAW, and it would record like a couple seconds and then it would stop recording. That's because you need to enable a module called SD overclocking, which overclocks your SD card in order for it to be able to handle that much data at once. So after you get your settings good to go, and you start trying to shoot things, the first thing that I noticed is that I thought the autofocus was god awful. I didn't like it at all. It kept going all over the place, but the problem was I was shooting at a wide open aperture. So I learned, very important lesson about cameras, if you have an open aperture, that's what gives you the effect of an in-frame subject and a very blurry background. If you have a smaller aperture or higher aperture, I don't know, then that puts more things in the frame in focus. So I was using f2. If you want to keep things in frame, you want to be more up to like f11, f22. But the thing is, if you want to use f11 or higher, then you need to have really good lighting. We'll get to that in a minute. So I tried recording some raw footage of just things around my house, and when I tried to convert the file, if you record raw footage with Magic Lantern, then you're going to need to use the MLV app in order to convert that file into something usable in Premiere. The thing is, when I tried to convert like a 1.5-minute video, it took like 20 minutes to convert over, just so I can go and edit it. So if I were to record like this entire video, in RAW, then that would take forever. Probably won't be using the RAW recording for stuff like this. Probably will use it for something like B-roll or something like that. Just very short snippets. Probably not a great idea to record in RAW for an entire video unless I'm really aiming for something very cinematic, which it's a vlog. Let's chill out. When I filmed my first video, I didn't really run into any issues. It recorded everything. The only issue that I run into is that everything's dark. Everything is really dark when I look back at the footage. It looks nice. It does look very nice in comparison to my iPhone. But then when I was trying to record this video, I ran into several issues. When I was recording the first time I was recording with the EOSM. After about 6 minutes of recording, I think it was overheating and it was crashing, and I couldn't get it to, I would have to like wait for it to cool down in order to record again, and I just got so frustrated with it, and I don't know when it stops recording. Speaking of, I'm gonna check to make sure it's recording right now. It is. It doesn't have a screen that flips around, so I have no idea when it stops recording, which isn't great. I have to like get up, check, make sure it's still recording, sit back down. Not that much of a hassle, but still stressful. If I do see that it does stop recording, I then have to go pull the footage, because you can't really scrub through the footage on the camera itself. I have to pull out the SD card, load on my computer, look where I left off, and then continue recording again and continue from there. Keep overheating and crashing, and I just couldn't do anything about it. So I got frustrated, and I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to record from my phone, and I'm going to talk about how much of a piece of shit this camera is because it keeps crashing. And then I do record from my phone. I recorded the video again with the front-facing camera. Then I look back at the footage, and the footage is pretty fuzzy. When I look back at both of the footage you'll probably be seeing now, the EOSM, even in poor lighting, still looks very good. It still looks better than the fuzzy low lighting of your iPhone. The only thing that I couldn't handle is it crashing and then having to redo things over and over and over again. So this time, what this is being recorded with right now is the Canon EOSM, but without Magic Lantern. I have no idea how this is gonna look. Hopefully it looks good, because I'm not gonna record it again. Here's the other thing. Another thing that you can run into while recording stuff with the EOSM. When I recorded the first time with the EOSM, I had this microphone plugged into the camera itself, so I didn't have to like sync up audio or anything like that. Here's what that sounds like off rip, like without doing any editing or anything like that to make the audio sound good. Did not come with a lens, so I need to get a lens. I got the 22mm pancake lens, which is 130. 2 micro SD cards, 127. And this is what it sounds like right now without any editing. How you've been hearing me right now this whole time is just me recording on Adobe Audition. And you can, and I don't have to change anything. I don't have to go in and change any settings or go any mix or anything. I don't have to mess around with anything to make it sound decent. I can just record and we're good. So keep that in mind. I don't know if that's probably a microphone problem. It's probably a skill issue on my end. I'm probably just not using the right thing, or I don't know. All I know is when I use Audition, sounds great. When I use it plugged into the camera itself, sounds like ass. That's all I care about. Before I get into, is it worth it to get something like a Canon EOSM? Is it worth it? Here is the cost of everything. The camera body EOSM used 285. Lens they mentioned, the Canon EOSM 22mm f2 STM used 130. Micro SD cards 127. Magic lantern costs my goddamn sanity. Tripod, I already had one. I don't know how much it is, but I'm just not including it in the cost, but I want to let you know that I have one. Aux cable, $8. Capture card. I wanted to also use this camera for streaming, but I'm going to hold off on streaming for a while. We'll see when I get there. But that was $20. With shipping, that was $20. Dummy battery that plugs into the wall, so I don't have to like keep swapping in and out batteries or be worried about the battery dying in the middle of recording. That is, with shipping, $28. And another USB-C power brick that I had to get a different one than what I had before, because the one that I had before didn't have enough amperage output in order to support the camera. It needed one that was at least 2 amps, and the one I had was below 2 amps. So all in all, that's about 615 doll hairs, which is for a camera setup is cheap. But it's still $615 when you already have a phone. With all the issues that I ran into, is it worth it? I don't, at the moment, no. And it's mostly a skill issue on my part. I'm not good with this camera. The more that I use this camera, the better that I will get with it. The main issue that I'm running into across using an iPhone, using EOSM with Magic Lantern, is I just don't have enough light in this room. I don't have enough lighting. I have a little ring light here, and the ceiling fan light isn't on because I think it looks bad. I have natural lighting coming in now, which hopefully this looks good this time. I don't know. We'll find out. I didn't do any test footage beforehand because I'm tired. And I have like some desk lamps behind me. So I think if you're recording stuff with your phone camera and it's not coming out how you want it to look, like it's looking fuzzy, it's not looking as high quality as you want it to look, invest in lighting first. Invest in lighting first is my advice for you, because that's a lot cheaper. I bought this simple kit of box lights on Amazon for like $60 for 2 box lights. They're really budget lights. I saw a review and they said, like, yeah, they're fine. So I got them. They will hopefully be more than enough to light me up so I can record at night and I don't have to only record during the day with the windows open. Hopefully it will be enough. Please be enough. If you're thinking about getting a camera because your iPhone or whatever phone you're using is just not really cutting it, invest in lighting first, record a bit more, see how you feel about it. And if you really want to just up it just that little bit, because the footage that comes out of the camera, out of the EOSM, does look really nice. It does. It looks very, very nice. It looks really good, and I really like how it looks. Was it worth spending all this money? Probably not. I probably should have bought lights first. If I could do this over again, I would have bought lighting first and see how that looked with my iPhone before I went and just bought a camera. But I'm here, and I have this camera now, so we're going to deal with it. Some other things that would be nice to get with this camera would be a camera monitor. The cheapest one I can find is like $100, so I can actually make sure that it's still recording while I'm recording. Extra batteries and charger would be $25 in case I go out and because I want to go to the tournament in Tampa in October, and I'll need extra batteries to record with from there. A gimbal thing, again, for the same reason, to record out of my house at events and things. That's me at $200-300. This turns into about $1,000 investment, which again for a camera is cheap. It's weird calling $1,000 budget. It's not. It's still $1,000, but compared to like $5,000, I guess, that people can spend on a camera for a really nice setup, I guess it's cheap. I would invest in lighting first. Invest in very nice lighting before you decide to go and upgrade to a full-on camera. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.